Good afternoon. Happy Hanukkah. It's Wednesday, December 28th. I'm Laura Cornfield, and this is IBA News broadcasting live from Jerusalem. At a special ceremony in Jerusalem this morning, the State Archives announced that all the documents produced by a state inquiry into the disappearance of Yemenite children during the early years of the founding of the state are now available to the public for review on its website. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu welcomed the move. Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked, Minister Tzachi Hanegbi, along with State Archivist Yaakov Lazowick, were among those who attended the ceremony. The digitalized collection of some 400,000 documents and includes material from a State Commission report from 15 years ago, minutes of meetings and testimony of witnesses that until now were classified. For the past half year, the State Archives scanned, indexed, and uploaded documents that today will be open to the public on its website. In 2001, the state inquiry into the affair concluded that more than 1,000 children of Yemenite immigrants disappeared between 1948 and 1954. Many died of illnesses, and the fate of others remains unknown. A short time from now, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is set to address the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and steps needed to resolve it before an invited audience at the U.S. State Department in Washington. At a press briefing yesterday, State Department spokesman Mark Toner confirmed Kerry's plans for the speech, but refused to divulge further details, including whether Kerry will announce a new peace initiative. Jerusalem fears Kerry may use the opportunity to lay down the final peace parameters aimed at isolating Israel further and will be adopted and discussed at the upcoming Paris Peace Summit next month. Toner said Kerry believes it is his duty in the remaining weeks and days as Secretary of State to lay out what he believes is a way towards a two-state solution. Netanyahu until now has rejected the Paris Peace Summit, saying it will do nothing to advance the peace process. The Egyptian website Al-Yum Al-Sabah published what it says is a transcript of a December 12 meeting between U.S. State Department officials and members of a Palestinian delegation in Washington that shows the sides coordinating their positions ahead of last week's UN Security Council vote against Israeli settlements. Kerry reportedly told the Palestinians that U.S. President Barack Obama and the current American administration is willing to cooperate with them at the UN Security Council if the resolution is a balanced one. Kerry and National Security Advisor Susan Rice reportedly severely criticized Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, accusing him of destroying the two-state solution. Israel has said it has evidence the U.S. coordinated its position with the Palestinians ahead of last week's vote and will deliver the details to U.S. President-elect Donald Trump when he takes up office. At a press briefing yesterday, U.S. State Department spokesman Mark Toner rejected the charges.
We've obviously seen the same reports, an amalgamation of different allegations that somehow this was U.S.-driven and pre-cooked. What I'll say, is that we reject the notion that the United States was the driving force behind this resolution. That's just not true. The United States did not draft this resolution, nor did it put it forward. It was drafted, initially introduced, as we all know, by Egypt in coordination with the Palestinians and others. When it was clear that the Egyptians and the Palestinians would insist on bringing this resolution to a vote, and that every other country on the Council would in fact support it, we made clear to others, including those on the Security Council, that further changes were needed to make the text more balanced. And that's a standard practice with regard to resolutions at the Security Council. So there's nothing new to this. You look like you're pouncing on me, but go ahead. No, we'll continue. I can continue, but if you have do you have a follow-up?
Let's just keep going with this.
And this is a really important point. We also made clear at every conversation, that the president would make the final decision and that he would have to review the final text before making his final decision. So the idea that this was, again, pre-cooked or that we had agreed upon the text weeks in advance is just not accurate.
Prime Minister Netanyahu instructed Israel's mission to the United Nations to skip last week's General Assembly vote on a resolution calling to form a body that would investigate suspected war crimes in Syria. A report in Israel's Hebrew language daily, Yediot Ahronot, revealed yesterday that Netanyahu, who also serves as Minister of Foreign Affairs, ordered the Israeli mission to stay away from the vote, in contradiction to Foreign Ministry staff who recommended Israel support the resolution. The report suggested that Netanyahu's directive was the result of diplomatic pressure from Russia, who is heavily involved in the Syrian civil war and does not want its army implicated to any international probes. Responding to the report yesterday, Yesh Atid party leader Yair Lapid slammed Netanyahu, saying if his father, the late Tomi Lapid, a Holocaust survivor and government minister, had heard that Israel remained silent on the subject, he would never have forgiven us. A Jerusalem court today handed down a 35-year prison sentence to Palestinian terrorist, 22-year-old Abudi student Abd El-Aziz Ma'ari for his involvement in a stabbing attack in the Old City in October last year, in which Rabbi Nehemiah Levi and Aaron Benita were murdered. The court also ordered Ma'ari to pay the sum of 258,000 shekels to the victims' families. The court determined that Ma'ari planned the attack and obtained the knife, which he gave to Mohammed Halabi, the 19-year-old terrorist who stabbed the victims before he was shot dead. Benita was walking with his wife and child on their way back from the Western Wall when they were stabbed by Halabi. Despite her wounds, Benita's wife alerted security forces. Rabbi Levi, who lived nearby, heard shouts and went to assist the Benita family when he was fatally stabbed. The Shin Bet announced today that Balal Razaini, a member of the Hamas military wing, was arrested last month after crossing into Israel from the Gaza Strip. Razaini was exposed details of the Hamas tunnel industry as well as other activities carried out by Hamas. Meanwhile, the Shin Bet revealed the arrests of 7 members of an Israeli Arab terror cell who plotted to attack soldiers in the south of the country. The cell members plotted to attack soldiers at Dimona, Arad, and the Nevatim Air Force Base in the Negev, in retaliation for Israel's decision to outlaw the northern branch of the Islamic movement. Cell members had already begun compiling information on the sites to be targeted. 37-year-old Mohammed Masri, who was released from an Israeli prison after serving 12 years for an attack on a Herzliya wedding hall, was the mastermind. After his release in 2013, he joined the Islamic movement in the north and employed cell member Abd Abu Ayash to work in his store in Beersheba. 5 other cell members were arrested, including 3 Bedouins from villages in the south. The state-owned Rafael Weapons Developers has revealed it has designed a new anti-tank rocket that is able to hit close-range targets. Based on the Spike-guided rocket, the SR version can hit tanks and armored vehicles from just 50 to 1,500 meters away, even if they are moving. The lightweight rocket weighs less than 10 kilos and can be carried by a soldier. A recent demonstration at a test range in the south saw representatives from 15 countries, including Poland, Germany, Sweden, and Spain. The earlier versions of the Spike were designed to hit targets up to 30 kilometers away, and over 27,000 of these have been sold around the world. In the Knesset, a photo exhibition was opened called Jerusalem Now and Forever to mark the 50th anniversary of the city's reunification. It will be sent on a world tour, including display at the United Nations headquarters in New York. IBA's Ari O'Sullivan had a look and brings us this report.
Lift up your eyes in Jerusalem, and it seems so easy to take a great photo.
It's the dream of all photographers. I'm the 15th generation here in Jerusalem. My daughter is the 16th generation in Jerusalem. And every day you will walk in the street of Jerusalem, you see all of that. I was wise that I took a camera with me. But if you were going to go with a camera, you will see all of that every day.
Sharon Gabay calls himself a street photographer. And his works, some in black and white, others in color, are hung on the walls of the Knesset.
Everyone talks about Jerusalem. They tell that Jerusalem, you have an apartheid, occupation, poor Arabs. Only the Jews can have fun in Jerusalem. But what I want to show to the world with this exhibition, that Jerusalem is a normal city. It's a very pluralist city. You can live in Jerusalem, you can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian, you can be a Jew.
For Likud MK Yehuda Glick, this photo exhibit is political, and he hosted it inside the Knesset.
We're in a year that many people around the world are questioning the connection between the people of Israel and Jerusalem. And we're here to say Jerusalem is a living city, a city that connects opposites. You see, each one of these pictures shows the light of Jerusalem. The Jerusalem is a city of peace, Jerusalem of peace, a city that connects. And this beauty is what we have brought here in the 50 years of the reunification of the city of Jerusalem. The reunification was just not uniting East and West Jerusalem. It's uniting the city of Jerusalem as a message to the world. And from here we are going around with these 50 pictures to 50 cities in the world, which will mark the 50th anniversary of the reunification of the city of Jerusalem. And this will be the message saying, we're here and we're here for good.
Politics aside, Gabai's compositions have a sense of humor that breaks some of the stereotypes expected in the City of Gold.
You have to make, to wake up a feeling. It can be an anger, it can excite you, and it can make you laugh. So it's very important what feeling it makes. If you have a feeling, you will remember the picture.
From here, the exhibit will be sent around the world, including to the United Nations, further cementing its message that the city is united, not occupied.
You can see Christian, Jews, and Muslims living together and praying, amen.
Ariel Sullivan for IBA News.
Let's give thanks and praises.
The historian Deborah Lipstadt says Israelis should beware of using the anti-Semitism card too much. She told Israel Television's Yaakov Achimer that Holocaust denial is still popular. She was in Israel for the premiere of the movie Denial, which is about how she was sued for libel by Holocaust denier David Irving. First, we'll see a clip from the movie and then an excerpt from the interview with her.
I say to you quite tastelessly that more women died on the back seat of Senator Edward Kennedy's car at Chappaquiddick than ever died in a gas chamber at Auschwitz.
It is my pleasure to introduce Professor Deborah Lipstadt. Whatever the reasons that people become deniers, they often have an agenda which they won't admit to.
Why do you continually denigrate the work of David Irving?
You can have opinions about the Holocaust, but I won't meet with anyone who says the Holocaust didn't happen.
Professor Lipstadt, I am that David Irving. And I've got $1,000 to give anyone who can show me a document that proves the Holocaust.
I will not debate you, not here, not now, not
because
ever.
You can't. Well,
there are two kinds of Holocaust denial. There's hardcore Holocaust denial.
Historians?
Not historians. They're people who write about history, but there are almost no historians who give it any value. But there are people like David Irving who say there were no gas chambers, there was no plan to kill the Jews. That's what I call hardcore denial. There's softcore denial, which are people who make who say, oh, we hear too much about the Holocaust. Why is everybody talking about the Holocaust? Or who do things like make comparisons that if you begin to say, what you're saying is anti-Semitic, they will try to shut you up by saying, oh, you're just using the Holocaust in order to quiet me, or they'll make analogies to Israel's policies and talk about the Nazi-like policies of Tzahal. And, you know, you can disagree with Tzahal, some of the things Tzahal does. You can disagree with Israeli policies vis-a-vis the Palestinian. But to make analogies to the Holocaust is just historically inaccurate. But I want to add another point here, which might be a little controversial, but we accept it. Okay, yeah, this is a country not afraid of controversy. We, as Jews, as people who particularly care about the Holocaust experience, have to be careful. In
what way?
We can't. Even if someone disagrees with us or disagrees with the policies of the State of Israel, we can't ipso facto say, he's an anti-Semite. There are people who can disagree with the State of Israel and not be anti-Semites at all. If we don't like some policy, we can't say, oh, this is just like the Nazis. If we always charge and say someone, you don't disagree with me, you're an anti-Semite, when the real anti-Semite comes along, nobody's going to listen to it.
In Berlin last night, Or El-Yakim, the son of Dalia El-Yakim, the Israeli woman who with 11 others was murdered in the truck-ramming terror attack at the Christmas market in Berlin, lit the fourth Hanukkah candle on the 10-meter-high menorah. Jews, Muslims, and Christians attended the candlelighting ceremony that was dedicated to the victims of the terror attack. Or's father, Rami, who was seriously injured in the attack, remains in hospital. And good news for all you snow lovers and skiers. The Mount Hermon Ski Resort opened its gates to the public today. Workers at the site began grooming the ski runs on the snowy mountain in preparation for tomorrow, when the ski season will officially open. Skiers and winter sports lovers are all welcome to head to the northern slopes to enjoy this rare wintry treat following days of continuous snowfall. In local money matters, shares were up on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, while the shekel was mixed in foreign currency trading. Here are the numbers. The IBA weather team says temperatures will continue to be unseasonably cool tomorrow, and the skies will remain partly cloudy with scattered showers in the north and along the coastal plain. Here are the highs and lows at home and abroad. And that's all for this newscast. Ari O'Sullivan will be here tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, I'm Laura Cornfield, wishing you a good evening, Chag Chanukah Sameach, and Shalom from Jerusalem.